I ended up getting pregnant again. Big surprise. So this is my 5th baby. And at this point, I was so bad in my addiction that I was just in denial the whole time that I was pregnant. Didn't really tell anybody. I got no prenatal care whatsoever. I used drugs the whole pregnancy. And I was just like in denial. I was in this world where like my reality was not reality. And I was like, in my head, I was like, oh, well, I'll get sober and I'll get prenatal care. It'll be fine. And I remember one night being in a house. I think it was just some house I was renting a room from or something. And my water breaking and being like, oh, shit.
Okay, I'm definitely pregnant.
Oh, yeah, definitely pregnant.
Crap.
Oh, my God. And I had just like, I was under the influence and everything else. And I had to go to the hospital. And I remember, I gave birth and then like 4 sheriffs came in. And they're like, we're trying to decide if we're going to arrest you or not for child endangerment, everything else, which would be for using while you're pregnant. They took the baby. Obviously, my mom came and picked the baby up from the hospital. And I wasn't able to leave with the baby. And same thing. CPS was like, get sober. You can have this baby back. I couldn't fucking do it. Well, it gets worse.
Were there times when you were done and you're just like, I'm done, and then you used again?
Not yet at this point.
Okay.
There was not a time. I always wanted to be done. So it's different. I wanted to be done so bad. I used to watch the show Intervention thinking it would convince me that I needed to be done and get sober. I wanted to be done so bad, so bad. Like I wanted to change my life so bad and I did not know how. Like, when you're driving and you make 1 wrong turn or 2 wrong turns, 3, you go, oh yeah, I just need to go back this way, this way, this way. But when you've been making wrong turn after
really
wrong
good analogy.
turn for that long, I didn't know how to get back. I didn't even know where to begin. Like I had lost everything at this point. I had nothing. Well, I give birth to a baby. My mom ends up, taking the baby home. CPS puts me in rehab. I stay for like 4 days, 5 days. And once I was there for like 5 days and I'm like, and I really wanted to do it. Like when I went in, I was like, I'm going to do this. I am going to do this. And I remember waking up on like the 5th day. I think I slept for like 5 days. And like on the 5th day, I woke up and I was sober. And then what happens when you're sober? You feel all of that. And can you imagine the amount of shame, guilt, just all of it? I could not even fathom what the hell I have done in my life. So I leave. And this was just weeks after I had gave birth, and I get pregnant again.
Wow.
Right
I didn't
away.
even know you could do that.
Yeah.
Holy
nuts. I do the same thing. I don't get any prenatal care. I use the whole time and go end up at a hospital giving birth to another baby. That's the exact same thing. 10.5 months later.
How are they now?
Amazing. One's right there.
That's so. Thank you so much for sharing all this. Because there's so many people with this story that would never share it.
Oh,
that you've just given so much freedom and relief to.
It is. So many people are like, "Are you kidding me?" And that's my story. And am I proud of it? Hell no. Do I think it is absolutely insane? Hell yes, I do. I mean, it's hard to even believe that happened. It was like a whole different life ago.
Like a bad dream or something.
Like a bad dream. But it is my reality. And when I go to rehabs and talk to women, it is actually more common than you think for women to use when they're pregnant.
Yes. Yeah.
Because if you're already addicted to drugs, and you're not able to get sober just for your kids, having a child in your stomach is not going to do it. It's not. You're going to continue using. There is so many babies born on a daily basis with, where the parents have used.
Yep.
And so I really want to share that part of my story. And it's raw. And I've also talked to my kids hey, I want to write a book and I want to share what are your thoughts on this? And my son wants to get into politics and he's like, well, it'll probably be pulled up later and, politics. But for the most part, my kids are super understanding. And
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, I digressed.
I know. I want
second
you to.
baby.
That's so great because there's so much to the story. And
Sure.
and what was I feeling at that time? What was going on?
Mhm.
Like, you know, and did the same thing. Had another baby. My mom had to pick the baby up from the hospital. They put me in rehab again. I was going to do it this time. This time I was ready.
You meant it.
I meant it.
You would have passed a polygraph.
For like
you were
3
done.
days. For like 3 days. And it was worse. It was worse when I woke up sober than it was the time before because I had even more wreckage. And I had 4 boys. And I remember this baby was a girl. And I was like, oh my God, I've always wanted, like, I love my boys, don't get me wrong, but like, I got a girl? I didn't even know I could make those. And I still couldn't get sober. I could not get sober to get my babies. And I love my kids more than anything in this world. And I have loved my children since the day they were born. Like at no point did I not love my children or did I not want my children.
That's so crazy. That's like the craziest thing about addiction.
Right.
It overrules the strongest instinct on planet Earth, which is the maternal instinct. Whatever addiction is stronger than that.
Oh my God, it is.
So crazy.
It is the only thing that can break that bond that a mom has for her children because it numbs you. It numbs you from life. It numbs you from reality, from everything. Like, can you imagine now ever using it? If somebody gets secondhand smoke around my kids, man, I'm gonna smack you. Get away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't even want, we're gluten-free, we're dairy-free. Like, you know what I mean? We're not putting toxins in our body.
Right.
And for me to have a sweet, precious baby in my stomach and do meth, can you freaking imagine?
I can because I have a past with addiction, but outside people looking in.
But outside they couldn't imagine.
No.
And it's not that they don't love their children. It's not any of that. It is that addiction will take you places you never thought it would. And you would have thought that would have been enough to get me sober, but it wasn't. It wasn't. My mom ended up having to adopt all 5 of them. And I ended up being able to move in with my mom. So I was able to be in their lives. So I lived with my mom and the children, but I was still in my addiction.
Damn it.
See, I know. I know. And so I still got to really be involved in their life, which I'm so grateful for that time. And I don't know that they even all realized how messed up I was. Like there's times where I've talked about it and they're like, well, I mean, you were there. You were just, it wasn't that bad. And I was like, I was bad. But I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for those years that even I didn't miss. I only missed like 2 years of their life, which is 2 years I'll never get back. But I'm so grateful for my mom that I still got to be a very big part of their life.
I'm grateful for your mom too. That's awesome.
So great. Yeah.
What was like the rock bottom moment?
Yeah.
What was the white light moment?
We're almost there. So let's speed up maybe 3-4 years. I get pregnant again. And my mom's like, I'm not taking this baby. And I was just so bad in my addiction at that time that I would say I was coming home. I wouldn't come home for 3-4 days. I was going to jail all the time. I mean, the police came to the house in front of the kids and arrested me for different stuff. I mean, keep in mind, I have 21 arrests. So, and they're all for little petty stuff like getting high or under the influence or nothing, thank God, nothing major. Mm-hmm. But at this point, my mom was like, you're done. You're out of here. And she put a restraining order on me.
Wow.
From her and all the kids. And at that point, I remember I was like, okay, I'm going to go to rehab. And I went into rehab. And I left after my normal, I think I was on like 4 or 5 days. Yeah, that's about my run. And when I left, I had nowhere to go. Nobody wanted anything to do with me. I had burned every bridge. I had like a trash bag left of stuff I had. And I remember walking down Antelope Road in some cheap sandals that were breaking. I was pregnant. I had nothing. I had a little tub of stuff and I ended up throwing it away because I couldn't carry it anymore. And at this point, I remember I stopped by a house of some person I used with, and I was in the bathroom and I called back the rehab and I said, will you please let me come back? I promise I'm done. Please. And they said, yes, if you come tomorrow, you can come back.